enough of this shit! There's a score to settle! Let's do this shit right now!
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur coming to you with another review. This week I checked out Black Wolf, and this 2022 film was directed, stars, and written by William Lee. That's right, William Lee is back. He is the same guy who did the Bulletproof Jesus movie, so I thought I'd check this one out. He also wrote it with Grace Kelly, who also stars in it as well, along with Robert Lamar Burns, among others, of course. The story of this movie is that there's this CIA agent. They don't actually call them CIA agents in the movie. They call them NIA, so National Intelligence Agency, I guess. And this guy, William Lee, he is directed to take out this criminal gang. But you'll never believe it, but every single member of this criminal gang is a childhood bully of William Lee's character. And so it just kind of seems like it's pretty self-indulgent that way, where he's just taking out bully after bully after bully after, 20 years of having to do, kung fu to get ready for this type of stuff. And it is kind of just that, right? He's just going around taking out these criminals one at a time, two at a time, and, getting revenge for his childhood torment. What will happen, though? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, with this one, after seeing Bulletproof Jesus, I certainly, remember the name William Lee. And so looking through Tubi, I saw you had a bunch of movies there, and this was the one that seemed the most interesting out of all kind of, their little movie descriptions. And so I, pressed play on this one. With this one, I would say it's just, a silly concept for a B movie, and that certainly attracted me. I think that's probably going to be the main attraction to it all. With this one, he certainly seems to be fulfilling some, wishes of his own life, being able to, go against his tormentors and, get revenge and that type of stuff. It is very self-indulgent that way, but I enjoyed it for that aspect. Certainly, going through it, seeing how they also talk about, how they tormented him, and, I said this to him, I did that to him, and, really kind of building up the reasons that this guy would have a vendetta against them. I would say it works. It certainly works. I would say it's a full story. It kind of rounds itself out with the characters and how they kind of have that history and how they kind of presented that history to the audience. And so, yeah, it just kind of works together to be, a silly, kind of corny, low-budget B movie. Also, with this one, he has to take out 30 of these bullies. And so there are quite a few action scenes in this one. I do think they work quite well. Not as well as maybe Bulletproof Jesus does it, but well enough that you get involved with it, you want to see them fight, and you want to, root for Billy Black Wolf here or William Lee. And so, yeah, all of the fighting stuff certainly does work. Other than that, I would say all of the characters certainly work. I like that they all kind of have this backstory and this connection to, Billy Black Wolf there. And they all tormented him in different ways. I enjoyed, at least the buildup of those characters. Oh, I was calling him this, or I did this to him. And so that certainly works. Same with Billy Black Wolf, and all of his friends, I think, are good enough characters, well written enough that, you believe that they're all, kind of real life characters. I would say, though, with William Lee, and I like William Lee, he seems like such a friendly guy, but it seems like it comes also across in his character, where he's supposed to be this NIA agent who's getting all of this revenge, but then at the same time, he's such a nice guy that you really don't necessarily believe it all the time. And so he's just, he's at the bar or something. He says, oh, let me teach you some kung fu, or hey, let's go get a coffee after this, or hey, what's going on? Slow down, let's talk it out, and things like that. And so it's just a little bit kind of off tone, but at the same time, it's just William Lee being himself is what I imagine. So yeah, that is all in there, and I would say it certainly works that way. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this movie. Well, on Tubi, they have the director's cut, so it's over 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes or something, and it's just too long. I had to take several breaks just, throughout the day to get through it, and that certainly is a problem. There are quite a few talking scenes. Like I said before, you do get to know the bad guys and how they kind of really tormented Billy Black Wolf here, and so it is good that way, but at the same time, they go on for a lot, and there are a lot of talking scenes, and that just, if it could just be a little bit more punchier, I think it would be just a little bit better. But as it stands, with all of the talking scenes, that certainly kind of just drags it down. With this one, having watched, Bulletproof Jesus, I'm sorry for, comparing it all the time to that one, but it just seemed like William Lee was such a pivotal person in that kind of production that I can't help but do it with this one. With this one, the story actually follows the whole story. Instead of having a weird 20-minute epilogue that doesn't make any sense, they do have this very kind of redundant epilogue, and you're just like rolling your eyes during it. But at least it connects to the story. And what else? There's this whole love triangle thing that, just kind of slows it down as well. I think kind of Grace Kelly kind of maybe put that into the script to, have more elements. And so, yeah, it's just far too long. I would have liked to have seen the regular cut of this one. I think with the director's cut, there is, just including everything that they filmed, and that way, you fill up 2 hours and 20 minutes. But yeah, certainly, I think could be shorter, and, that way a little bit more punchier. Other than that, with this one, it takes a little bit to like recognize that he's a CIA agent. Like that's what the blurb says, on Tubi. But in the movie, they call them NIA agents. And so that was just a little bit confusing. And even then, you don't get to understand that they're, CIA agents until like, the 20 or 30 minute mark. So everything that's happening in the start, you're just like, why is this happening? Like, what is the connection between these two people? And it turns out like everybody's a CIA agent. So, it's like very coincidental that way. Or until they tell you they're all, of the same organization, you're just like, why are these people talking to each other? So yeah, that was one thing that could have been, introduced a little bit quicker, I thought. And it's in there like that's just how it's all portrayed to you. So yeah, that's how it is. And so ultimately, would I recommend this movie? I think it's probably a good kind of background movie, just have it going in the background. I would say if you want to see William Lee, check out Bulletproof Jesus. I thought that one was quite a bit better than this one. It had its own issues, of course. You can check out the review on the channel. But yeah, this one, I thought William Lee would be another, kind of Neil Breen-esque type of thing. But this doesn't quite fit that, style as much as Bulletproof Jesus did. So it's just, ultimately just kind of a B movie that you could watch or not. It's really just, how much do you want to see William Lee doing his stuff again? As for a rating, well, I'm going to give it the mildly interesting score of 3.4. I think it's kind of a good kind of background movie, ultimately, if you're, playing on your phone or tablet or whatever it might be, or, doing house chores, who knows. And so, yeah, that's probably, I think, a well-deserved score for this one, 3.4. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.